To that point, where are all of those Democrats who spoke up about domestic terrorism? Just as you said, Jesse, we heard silence is violence from the social justice warriors during BLM, but now they're all silent on this issue. So why are we not seeing more condemn these violent attacks on American business?
Well, it's hypocrisy. That's why, because it hurts too much to look in the mirror and admit, hey, this is not something that works. It's not something that's right. And it is, I think, a demonstration of just how incapable people on the left are in dealing with disappointment. And this is to a point earlier. I mean, this is the kind of thing that's coming out of our universities and weak parenting and weak communities, where part of life is dealing with disappointment and being able to win people over to your side and your ideals through a conversation or debate or discussion, not resorting to violence. This is a hissy fit of epic proportions. This is what toddlers do, and there's no defending it at all, and hypocrisy is on full display.
Well, speaking of hypocrisy, I want to get to immigration. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, who testified at the hearing for sanctuary city mayors earlier this month, is still defying the Trump administration.
We stand with immigrants. You belong here. Somos una ciudad de inmigrantes. Boston doesn't back down.
Jesse,
unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, she never ceases to amaze me. But Jesse, being in this country illegally is a crime. So why is Mayor Wu doubling down on obstructing the Trump administration's deportation plans?
I can't answer that question because it's absolute insanity. Sex crimes have increased in Boston. And when she was questioned about this very behavior going on in their cities, she essentially tried to say that if ICE would put forward a criminal complaint, then their police would hold them accountable, which is not happening. We all know that when you have children and women being human trafficked in your city, because essentially sanctuary cities now give cover to cartels and criminal elements. In fact, you're not protecting those that are here, either they be here legally or illegally, when you allow people to basically be hiding under your sanctuary status. She should be ashamed of herself. And not only that, they spent over $650,000 of taxpayers' money for a law firm to represent her while she was going down there to D.C., along with using valuable resources for this testimony that ended up being just basically her saying, I'm going to turn a blind eye on it. All of these blue cities need to be held accountable. The federal funding needs to stop, and they also need to be held criminally liable for every single victim of the illegals that have committed crimes in their cides.
So there is a glimmer of good news here, right? We know on the point of accountability, we now have a president who is delivering on his promise to make America safe. So take a listen to DH Secretary Kristi Noem this week at the aftermath of a drug bust in Fort Lauderdale.
In the first 100 days of President Trump's administration, he's already delivered on his campaign promises of making America safe again and helping the American people to be more secure as well. And today we're here to recognize and to witness another milestone in his mission to protect our borders, to protect our communities, and to stop the flow of illicit drugs and trafficking into the United States of America. Today is a historic day. Here at Port Everglades, over 22.5 tons or 45,000 pounds of cocaine and 50 pounds of marijuana are valued at over $500 million.
You know, I don't think the contrast could be any more stark. You've got on one side, Ike, you've got the Trump administration who's really trying to crack down on drugs and crime and fix the border. And then you've got these sanctuary cities that are fighting that effort every single day. Why is this mayor, and why is there such a disconnect between the two sides? Why do we have these two very different Americas? That question's for you, Ike.
Well, I think it really is the broader issue here is that Democrats want to flood this country with people that can vote for them eventually. But in the more near term, this affects the census. Illegal immigrants are counted in the census, which affects the way that representation is divided up for Congress. And so it is a longer play. It's also something that creates a mass crime state, which could then eventually end up with a mass control state. So part of the globalist agenda is no borders, no sovereign country. So I know that sounds sinister, but if you want to run this thing out the long term, those are the results. And as Tom Homan has pointed out, it was the Biden administration that changed and stopped enforcing the statute. Now, all Donald Trump is doing is allowing Border Patrol to do their job. And I saw Tom Homan speak at CPAC nobody loves their job more than this guy.
Such a good point.
Yes, he's the absolute best at his job. We didn't need a new law. We just needed a new president. Jesse Jane Duff, Ike Wingate, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A brewing beef between President Trump and Fox